Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I am your host, Emma, and I am broadcasting live from our stunning high-tech studio right here in the heart of Manhattan, New York City.
And I'm Liam. It's a pleasure to be here with you again, Emma. Looking out the window at the Empire State Building today, it's hard not to feel inspired by the sheer ambition of this city.
It really is, Liam. Every time I walk through these busy streets, I see people constantly moving, constantly striving to be better. And that is exactly why we are here today. We aren't just here to teach you grammar or vocabulary. We are here to help you grow as a person while you master the English language.
Exactly. Think of this podcast as your mental gym. While you listen to us, you are training your ears to understand natural American English, the rhythms, the pauses, and the real-life expressions. But more importantly, you are absorbing ideas that will help you design a better life.
I love that. Design a better life. Today's topic is something I've been struggling with personally. We're talking about habit stacking.
Habit stacking. It sounds technical, but it's actually one of the most elegant and simple psychological hacks ever discovered. It's the art of stacking a new positive habit onto something you already do automatically every single day.
Like drinking my morning coffee?
Laughs. Precisely. If you can drink coffee, you can build a new life. It's about making change feel invisible and effortless rather than a constant battle of willpower.
So, if you've ever felt frustrated because you keep forgetting to practice your English, or you can't seem to stick to a workout routine, this episode is for you. We're going to break down the success formula, talk about how to choose your anchor habits, and explain the science of small wins.
By the end of this hour, you will have a clear blueprint to transform your daily routine into a powerhouse of productivity. And of course, we'll be highlighting some golden vocabulary to help you speak about your habits like a pro.
I'm so ready for this. Take a deep breath, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Liam, are you ready to show us how to stack our way to success?
I'm more than ready, Emma. Let's dive in.
Okay, Liam, I am still thinking about what you said in the intro. You mentioned that we shouldn't rely on willpower because it's like a battery that runs out. That really hit home for me. But if willpower isn't the answer, what is? Is it just about being organized?
Well, to be honest, Emma, it's about biology. You see, our brains are incredibly efficient, or some might say lazy. Every time you do something new, your brain has to work hard to build a new connection. But when you do something automatically, like walking or brushing your teeth, your brain is on autopilot.
Autopilot, like when I walk to the subway station and suddenly realize I don't even remember the walk there.
Exactly. That is a neural pathway. It's like a paved highway in your brain. Habit stacking is brilliant because instead of trying to cut a new path through a thick jungle, you just park your new habit right on that existing highway.
I love that image. So, how do we actually park the habit? Is there a secret code?
Well, actually, there is a formula. It's very simple. After current habit, I will new habit.
After current habit, I will new habit. That sounds almost too simple, Liam. Does it really work for big changes?
It works because it is simple. The problem most people have, especially here in a high-pressure city like New York, is that they try to make their habits too big. They say, I will study English for an hour every night. But then they get home, they're tired, and they never start.
That is exactly me. So, how would I change that using the formula?
You start tiny. After you take off your coat when you get home, you listen to one English song. That's it. You use the physical action of taking off the coat as the trigger.
Trigger. I like that word. But to be honest, my day feels very messy. I don't know if I have any stable habits to use as triggers.
Well, actually, Emma, you'd be surprised. Think about your morning routine in your Manhattan apartment. What is the very first thing you do?
Well, I wake up and I immediately reach for my glasses on the nightstand. I can't see anything without them.
Perfect. That is a world-class anchor. It's consistent, it's fast, and you do it every single day. So your stack could be, after I put on my glasses, I will say one thing I'm excited about today in English.
Wow, that would take, what, 5 seconds?
Exactly. And those 5 seconds are the seed. You see, once you start, it's much easier to keep going. The hardest part of any habit is the initiation, the very beginning. Habit stacking removes the friction of starting.
I see. But what if I have a bad habit as an anchor? Like, after I sit on the couch, I will check Instagram. Can I stack a good habit on that?
Well, to be honest, it's better to use neutral or positive anchors. If you sit on the couch, your brain is already expecting relaxation. It will fight you if you try to study. You want to choose an anchor that has the same vibe or energy as your new habit.
That makes a lot of sense. Energy matching. But Liam, New York is a very distracting place. Sometimes I'm on the subway and it's loud, or I'm walking through a crowd. How do I stay focused on my stack?
This is where environment design comes in. If you want to stack a reading habit onto your subway commute, you shouldn't have to look for your book. It should be in your hand before you even step onto the train.
So, after I hear the subway doors close, I will open my English book.
Exactly, but you make it easier by having the book ready. In the habit world, we say, make it obvious. If your trigger is invisible, your habit will be forgotten.
Well, actually, I noticed that when I leave my gym shoes right by the door, I'm much more likely to go for that run in Central Park.
Precisely. You're using your environment to trigger your brain. You're not using willpower, you're using visual cues.
I'm starting to feel much more confident about this, but I have to ask. Sometimes I feel like doing something for only 2 minutes is cheating. Like, is it really helping my English if I only listen to one short clip after my coffee?
Emma, have you ever heard of the 1% rule?
Is that a finance thing?
It can be, but in habits, it means that if you get 1% better every day, you will be 37 times better by the end of the year.
37 times? That's huge.
It is. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what they can do in a year of small, consistent steps. When you stack a small habit, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become.
Casting a vote. I love that. So every time I do my 2-minute English stack, I'm voting for Emma, the English speaker.
Exactly. And eventually, you don't even have to think about the vote. You just are that person.
Okay, I'm ready to start. But wait, I know myself. I'll probably try to stack 10 habits at once. I'll be like, after I brush my teeth, I'll do 50 push-ups, learn 10 words, write a poem, and clean the kitchen.
And that, Emma, is the fastest way to fail.
I figured. So what's the limit?
Well, to be honest, I recommend starting with just one stack. Master it for 2 weeks. Once it feels automatic, once you feel weird not doing it, then you can add another Lego block on top of that.
One at a time, slow and steady, like a New York skyscraper. We build it floor by floor.
Correct. And remember the never miss twice rule we mentioned earlier. Life happens. The subway gets delayed, you get a phone call. If you miss your stack once, it's okay. Just don't let the chain break for 2 days in a row.
That feels very fair. It takes away the perfectionism that usually stops me.
Perfectionism is the enemy of consistency, Emma. We want progress, not perfection.
This has been so helpful, Liam. I'm already thinking about my morning at the kitchen table. After I set my coffee mug down, I will open my vocabulary app.
That is a perfect stack. I can already see the English speaker version of Emma becoming a reality.
And what about you? What is your after current habit, I will new habit? Think about it as we move into our next segment. That conversation was so inspiring, Liam. I have my notebook ready. We used some really powerful words earlier, and I want to make sure our listeners and I really understand how to use them in daily life.
That's the spirit, Emma. Learning the concept is step one, but owning the language is how you truly progress. I've selected 5 golden words from our talk. Let's break them down.
The first one is anchor. Now, I know an anchor is that heavy metal thing on a ship, right? But how do we use it for habits here in the city?
Exactly. Think of a ship in the Hudson River. Without an anchor, it drifts away with the current. In habit stacking, an anchor is an existing habit that is so strong it stays in place no matter what. It holds your new habit.
So, my morning coffee is my anchor. Can I use it as a verb? Like, I need to anchor my English practice to my breakfast.
Perfectly used. In a New York office, you might hear someone say, "Let's anchor this new project to our weekly Monday meeting." It means connecting something new to something that already happens.
Next is consistency. This word sounds very serious.
It is the secret sauce of success, Emma. Consistency means doing something the same way over time. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up.
To be honest, I often confuse this with frequency.
Good point. Frequency is how often you do it. Consistency is the steadiness of the action. In the US, if a restaurant has consistent quality, it means the pizza tastes just as good today as it did 3 years ago. For your English, consistency means your brain knows that 8 a.m. is always English time.
Number three is trigger. I've heard this in movies, but what does it mean for our routines?
A trigger is a spark. It is the specific event that tells your brain, hey, it's time to start the habit.
So, the sound of my alarm is a trigger to wake up?
Yes, but a good trigger for habit stacking should be an action you take. For example, the moment my feet touch the floor is a physical trigger. Well, actually, in psychology, we often look for triggers to understand why people have bad habits too. If you know the trigger, you can change the response.
I remember you mentioned removing friction. What is friction in this context?
In physics, friction is what slows things down. In life, friction is any small obstacle that makes a habit difficult to start.
Oh, like if my gym bag is at the back of the closet, that is high friction?
Exactly. You're lazy. We all are. So if there is friction, you'll quit. Successful people in New York design their lives for low friction. They put their English book on their pillow in the morning so it's right there at night. They remove the friction of searching for the book.
And finally, the scientific one, neural pathway. This sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie set in Brooklyn.
That's actually inside your head right now. A neural pathway is like a physical trail in your brain created by repeating an action.
Like a path in Central Park?
Exactly. The first time you walk on the grass, there's no path. But if 1,000 people walk the same way, the grass disappears and a clear trail forms. That is a neural pathway. When you practice English every day, you are literally building a highway in your brain so the words can travel faster.
Wow, so I'm not just learning, I'm a construction worker for my own brain.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Emma.
These words are so useful. I feel like I can describe my progress much better now. To our listeners, try to use one of these words today. Maybe tell a friend, I'm trying to reduce the friction in my study routine.
Great advice. Let's move on to our final segment, where we'll wrap everything up with a powerful message.
As we sit here in this studio, watching the lights of the Chrysler Building flicker on, I want us to take a moment of silence. We live in a world that demands more, 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 and faster, faster, faster. But habit stacking teaches us something very different. It teaches us that small is beautiful, right?
Exactly. It's a philosophy of grace. It's about being kind to your future self. When you stack a tiny habit, you aren't fighting your life, you are dancing with it. You aren't forcing a giant change, you are planting a seed in the soil of your daily routine.
I love that image, Liam. To be honest, I used to think I had to be a new person to speak English well, but now I realize I just need to be Emma with a stack.
Precisely. Don't wait for a perfect time to start. There is no perfect time in New York, and there is no perfect time in life. There is only, after I do X, I will do Y. That simple sentence is a bridge from where you are to where you want to be.
So, to summarize for our friends listening at home, find your anchor, something you already do, reduce the friction, make it super easy, build that neural pathway, stay consistent, and most importantly, if you miss a day, just don't miss two.
Spot on, Emma. Remember, your habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small steps taken every day lead to a massive transformation over a year. You have the power to design your brain.
Thank you so much, Liam. This has been a life-changing conversation. And to our wonderful listeners around the world, we want to hear from you.
What is the one anchor habit you have every morning? And what is one tiny English habit you are going to stack on top of it today?
Tell us your stack. We are so excited to see your progress. Until next time, keep listening, keep stacking, and keep believing in yourself.